Repotting a blood orange tree isn't just about giving it a new home. It's about setting it up for long-term success. A healthy root system means better fruit production, vibrant foliage, and a tree that thrives for years to come. Now, let's talk about positioning. Where you place your newly repotted citrus tree is just as important as the repotting process itself. Blood orange trees love sunlight. They need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight per day, so positioning them in a bright spot is crucial. If you're growing your tree indoors, a south-facing window or a grow light can help provide the necessary light. One thing to keep in mind is that citrus trees don't like sudden changes. If your tree was previously growing in partial shade and you suddenly place it in full sun, it might experience some leaf drop. To prevent this, gradually introduce it to brighter light over a few days. Now, let's take a closer look at fertilizing. Since we just repotted, we don't want to fertilize right away. Give the tree at least 2 weeks to adjust to its new pot before feeding it. When it's time to fertilize, use a balanced citrus fertilizer that contains nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and essential micronutrients like iron and magnesium. For container-grown citrus trees, a slow-release fertilizer is a great option, as it provides nutrients over time without overwhelming the plant. If you prefer liquid fertilizer, you can dilute it and feed your tree every 2 to 4 weeks during the growing season. Be careful not to over-fertilize. Too much nitrogen can lead to excessive leaf growth at the expense of fruit production. Another crucial factor is watering. While citrus trees love moisture, they hate sitting in waterlogged soil. Overwatering can cause root rot, a common problem that can quickly kill a tree. To avoid this, always check the soil before watering. Stick your finger about an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If it's still moist, wait a day or 2 before checking again. When watering, do so deeply until water drains from the bottom of the pot. This encourages deep root growth and prevents the development of shallow, weak roots. Avoid letting the pot sit in standing water, as this can lead to fungal issues and root rot. Let's move on to pruning. While repotting, you may have noticed some leggy or damaged branches. Now is a great time to prune them back. Trimming off dead or diseased branches not only improves airflow but also directs the tree's energy toward healthy growth. For a well-shaped blood orange tree, prune lightly to encourage a strong structure. If you notice any branches crossing or growing inward, remove them to create an open canopy. This helps sunlight reach all parts of the tree, which promotes better fruiting. Speaking of fruiting, let's discuss patience. Blood orange trees, like all citrus, take time to produce fruit. If you're growing a young tree, it may take 2 to 3 years before you see a significant harvest. During the first year, you might even want to remove some of the flowers to allow the tree to focus on establishing a strong root system. Once your tree starts producing, thinning the fruit can improve quality. Instead of letting the tree bear too many small oranges, removing some of the developing fruit allows the remaining ones to grow larger and sweeter. Now that we've covered repotting, watering, fertilizing, pruning, and fruiting, let's check back on the garden center updates. The concrete work is coming along beautifully. Smooth, even pathways are replacing the old, uneven surfaces, making it easier to navigate the space, especially for visitors with carts or wheelbarrows. Not only does this improve accessibility, but it also enhances the overall look of the garden center, giving it a more modern and organized feel. With the new walkways in place, we're also reorganizing some of the plant displays. Citrus trees are getting a dedicated section, making it easier for customers to browse different varieties. Blood oranges, mandarins, and kumquats are among the top choices right now, especially for home gardeners who want fresh fruit right at their fingertips. In addition to citrus trees, we're also bringing in new seasonal plants. Fresh herbs, flowering perennials, and even some rare indoor plants are making their way onto the shelves. If you love greenery, this is the perfect time to explore new additions for your garden or home. Now, let's go back to our newly repotted blood orange tree. Aftercare is critical at this stage, so let's go over a few key points. 1. Keep an eye on moisture levels. 1. Avoid overwatering, but don't let the soil dry out completely. 2. A moisture meter can help if you're unsure. 3. Watch for signs of transplant shock. 3. A little bit of drooping is normal after repotting, but if you notice excessive leaf drop, move the tree to a slightly shadier spot for a few days before gradually reintroducing it to full sun. 4. Protect against pests. 4. Citrus trees can attract aphids, spider mites, and scale insects. 4. Check the leaves regularly, especially the undersides, and treat any infestations early with insecticidal soap or neem oil. 5. Avoid fertilizing too soon. 5. Let the tree settle into its new home before feeding it. 5. Once it starts pushing out new growth, that's a sign it's ready for nutrients. 6. Provide support if needed. 6. If your tree is top heavy or has weak branches, staking it can help keep it stable while it adjusts to the new pot. Repotting can seem like a big task, but the rewards are absolutely worth it. A well-cared for blood orange tree will not only provide fresh, homegrown fruit but also fill your space with lush greenery and fragrant blossoms. So, if you have a citrus tree that's outgrowing its pot, don't hesitate to give it a fresh start. With the right soil, a well-chosen container, and a little TLC, you'll have a thriving, productive tree for years to come. That's it for today's video. If you found this helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more gardening tips and updates. There's always something new happening at the garden center, and I can't wait to share more with you. See you in the next one. Happy gardening.